All right, guys, so I've got a question for you. Do you think I should have a section of Everything Else channel? And by the way, guys, Everything Else channel is a secondary channel to Sight Sounds Flavors. I hope to have a lot more Waukesha Christmas Parade trial content on there, Jarrell Brooks content, and Don Woods and Dr. Mary Edwards, the whole saga of the trial, and the commentaries that go with them as well. And all you've got to do is type in everythingelschannel.com and it will take you to the YouTube page for the Everything Else channel. And I would love it if you subscribed, if you smash that like button, and of course the biggest of all is comment on all the videos. But my question to you: do you think that I should set aside some resources on Everything Else channel to do audits, First Amendment audits? Now, I don't know of a single First Amendment auditor in the country that's a licensed practicing attorney. And I am a fervent believer in the First Amendment. It's probably the most important amendment to me. They're all important, but I mean, I am a big pro-gun guy. I do believe in the Second Amendment. I am a liberal on social stuff. I'm more of a conservative on fiscal stuff. I'm hardcore into the Second Amendment. But if I had to pick, and of course, I'm a big proponent of the Fourth and the Fifth and the Sixth Amendments because I'm an attorney. But again, if I had to pick just in terms of my YouTube content and my creative side, if you will, the First Amendment would be paramount, like tantamount to the reason I make videos. Individuality, creativity, expression, being different, not necessarily saying what everybody else is saying, being able to have unpopular opinions. That's the crux, that's the heart of the First Amendment. And a big part of the First Amendment, as Amagansett Press says, which is one of my favorite First Amendment auditing channels, rights are like muscles. If you don't flex them, you lose them. And he couldn't be more right. And so I'm thinking to myself, should I do that? Now, I do have a video that I'm going to share, and I'm actually going to put a thumbnail to it at Everything Else channel, which is, I was in Potterville, Michigan. And you guys know that aside from the trial stuff, the restaurant stuff, the travel stuff, the music stuff, the food stuff, all the stuff that Sight Sounds Flavors on YouTube is all about, that I do my Exploring Kentucky videos. But then I'm also going to other states. And I went to law school in Michigan, so I was in Michigan recently, and I did some videos. I did Grand Ledge, I did Rockford, I did, I went to a bunch of places. I did Lansing, but I also did Potterville. And when I did Potterville is an interesting little city in Michigan because it's very small. It's outside of Lansing, which is where I went to law school. And I used to substitute teacher quite a bit. And I dated a girl from Potterville for like 6 or 7 months. And then I dated another girl from Potterville for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks or something at a different time. So I had some connection to it. And, it's a very, very small town. It's got a mill. It's got the train goes through there. It's got maybe 1 or 2 like little restaurants, a post office. It's very, very small. But, so I went to Potterville to make this video. And so I wanted to start from the post office. Now, there's houses next to the post office, and that's, downtown living for you, whether small town America or big city America. If you live next to a post office, then you're probably downtown. And so what I did was I wanted to zoom down the road. I never go into neighborhoods. I make, not to say that the First Amendment is not allowed, in neighborhoods. First Amendment is allowed on any sidewalk, public street, public park, pretty much anywhere that's public, unless it's a limited public forum, which a sidewalk is not. A sidewalk is as First Amendment as you can get, okay? And so what I wanted to do, though, was because the post office, abutted a neighborhood, I wanted to just, get a shot of the street, down the street, and then come around and then start at the post office, but when I like came around, I went through some houses, and there was, oddly enough, a house with an American flag outside, which I thought was really cool. And that was the homeowner who actually came out almost, you know, within feet of my face while I was on the sidewalk. And then I moved into the middle of the street. And then he came out onto the sidewalk and wanted me to get off the street. And I explained to him, I'm not here to film your house. I'm not here to film the neighborhood. I'm here to film Potterville. I even told him for Sight, Sounds, Flavors, which is, I don't even have to tell him for what. He asked me for what. I told him for what. I wasn't there for his house. I was there for Potterville. I must have filmed at least 100 cities by this point, maybe more. And he ruined the video. And so I didn't even put up a video for Potterville. There's no video for Potterville here. So, and, but then it became a First Amendment audit. It wasn't supposed to be a First Amendment audit. It was supposed to be a video of Potterville. And from that trip, I've got videos from, like I said, Lansing, Rockford, Mason, Grand Ledge, you know, not just Potterville. I didn't go there just to shoot Potterville, you know what I mean? But I want to go ahead and share the video at the Everything Else channel. And, you know, and I'm thinking about whether or not I should do audits, because if I'm out for Sight, Sounds, Flavors and I'm doing, you know, history videos like I do in Russellville, or like I do in, you know, Frankfort, Kentucky, or Ripley, West Virginia, you know what I mean? Or, I don't know, Columbus, Ohio, or, you know, Middletown, Ohio. I mean, you know, if I'm already there to do that, maybe I can also do an audit. And all an audit is, all Emigrants Press does, Watching the Watchmen does, Nasty Nathaniel, another one that I absolutely love. All right. You know, that's how he starts his videos. I love Nasty Nathaniel. And, you know, I used to like a lot News Now Houston, which I don't know if he still records or not. Who else? There's a few. There's a few that I really, really, really like. And they're really good. They're very good, actually. And I don't know if I should do that or not. They're very gutsy. You know, they almost always have the cops called on them. You know, and again, the cops are very like, I like cops. I think, you know, cops are great. Whenever I need help, I call cops. I really like cops. But, you know, a few bad apples, yes, it does ruin the bunch sometimes. So, you know, a lot of times police are very standoffish with them. Emigrants Press just put out a new video. I believe they were in Sandusky, Ohio. And there was a police officer there named Ernie, which I just wanted to hug. He's an amazing police officer. You know, you run into some officers that are just absolutely amazing. They know everything about the First Amendment. They know everything about the right to the press. They know everything about, you know, what you can and can't do. And the best police officers are the ones that educate the people that think that First Amendment auditors are somehow doing something wrong. How, you know, you can't trespass the eyes. And so I really, really am thinking about doing this. But I want to ask you guys, my viewers here at Sight, Sounds, Flavors YouTube channel, what you think, you know, because I really, really respect what you think. And I like to guide myself by what you think, you know what I mean? Because I love creating content, but I just want to make sure it's content that's going to get a reaction. You know, it's not about money. You know, a lot of these videos make a few bucks here or there, a couple $100 a month, something like that. But I'm not going to like, that's not going to change my life. It's not why I make videos. Subscriptions, there is a little bit of a pride factor in that, you know, and reaching as many people as possible. And the same thing with likes, you know, there's a little bit of a pride factor. But for me, it's about the comments, you know, that's why I'm saying I really want to know what you guys think, because your comments are what I live for. That's why I do this. You know, if somebody leaves me like a 3, 4, 5 paragraph comment, believe you me, I will read every single word, and then I will reread it again. And sometimes I'll take a screenshot and I will keep it as a memento, because to me, if my video could get somebody to write 5 paragraphs, whether they agree with me, disagree with it, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's very, very inspiring. It makes me feel like what I'm saying is being heard, and it really doesn't matter if you agree or not. And I don't mean that in a standoffish way. I mean that in a very genuine way. You know, whether you agree or not, because sometimes when you don't agree, it opens my eyes to different ways of thinking, and that's really good. That's really, really good, because I believe that's how you grow. So again, guys, please also don't be afraid to say, no, Christian, I think it's a horrible idea for you to do audits. You know, I'm just curious what you guys think. And I'm going to share the video from the guy in Potterville who was really, really, really not very nice to me. And I was a little afraid. I mean, I'm 6'4", and I'm like, right now I'm 315. Ideally, I'll be back down to 270. It's, you know, but I didn't go to law school because I'm a brawler. You know what I mean? I'm not a tough guy. You know, I am bald, and I do look like John Fetterman, although my ears are not quite as pointy. But I don't think John Fetterman's a tough guy either. I honestly, I'm not. And even if I was, you know, we live in a civilized society with laws. That's why I went to law school also. And I'm not, you know, he never attacked me. But the thing is, like, let me tell you something. In the law, there's something called assault. And a lot of people sometimes get assault and battery confused. Now, you know, there is a physical component with assault, of course, but there's also something called a reasonable apprehension of a battery. So if somebody comes up to you, and again, this may vary by states, but I'm talking about the essence of what an assault is, or one of the things an assault may be, and one of the things an assault may be is the reasonable apprehension of an imminent battery. And what that basically means is that if somebody believes that they're about to get struck, and it's imminent, meaning that if I say, hey, I'm going to hit you next week, that's not imminent. But if somebody is coming at you, saying that they're going to hurt you, or making you feel like they're going to hurt you, and that fear is reasonable, meaning that an average person would think that you were about to get punched, slapped, pushed, whatever, spat on, because that's also a battery, then that's reasonable. If it's imminent, it's reasonable, you feel like you're going to get struck, that's an assault. And so, you know, you don't ever want to feel like that, especially when your dominant hand or dominant side is holding a camcorder that's got a boom on it, that's got an arm on it. You know what I mean? That, you know, and then your left hand, which is your passive hand, has that phone in there, because I like to take video for TikTok and Instagram. So basically, it's almost like you have your hands tied behind your back. You know what I mean? And you're in a place you don't know. And, you know, it's just not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. And plus, when this guy was doing this, behind me, there was another house, and there was a gentleman outside, and it was like, you know, he's kind of like a country-ish kind of dude, and he probably knows the guy across the street very well. And he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. So he comes out of his house, you know, and he sees his front neighbor getting into it with some guy with a camera that he's never seen before, in the middle of the street, no less. You know, whose side is he going to take? I mean, it's a very, very uncomfortable type feeling. And so I don't know if I want to expose myself to that all the time, but it's freedom. And it's just ironic, because the guy had an American flag in front of his house, and he did not understand what that meant. You know, it's one thing if you know, you're all about the red, white, and blue, the colors that never run, but then you don't know what freedom is all about. That flag is about freedom.